Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Welcome to the 𝗙𝗢𝗧𝗜𝗙 channel. This is a continuation of our series, the Brother Haji refutations, in response to obviously Muhammad Safdar, a name known to all now. He decided to produce a series of videos, and he continues to do so, mocking Shias, and these are responses to him. His motive isn't one of educating the masses or being fair or honest. His motive is to incite hatred on the social media platforms. His comments, his style, the approach that he uses, that's what it is. We know exactly, the way that he behaves. From his Deobandi background, we know the type of thinking that he does. Some of those scholars from Pakistan, many of us hail from that region, we know that they use the same methodology, and Brother Haji has been inspired by them, and he's using the same thing, simply trying to trigger audiences to attack Shias. This is really his whole motive. And the funny thing is, I think we've dealt with we're in excess of 7 or 8 videos now on just the theme of wilayah. Every single narration that he's quoted thus far has been proven to be weak. That sums up the sort of individual we're talking about. He has no desire to quote anything that's authentic. Simply being there is enough for him to mock and incite hatred. So that's his new style. Once the Shias have started refuting him, diversion is what I'm going to do. So he's now producing different videos and demanding that we respond to those. Well, in good time, Brother Haji. First you respond to our videos, refuting you. And the funny thing is, a man that claims that he's refuting us doesn't at the same time acknowledges that he doesn't actually view our videos, which in itself sums up his honesty and integrity. If you really was the individual that you claim to be, being very much objective and fair, at least you'd see what we say and refute and respond. But you are yourselves stating that you don't bother doing so. Rather, you take something from a secondary source. An individual tells you, and you thereafter produce your rebuttals. That's poor. That's a poor methodology and not very academic. Still, nothing surprises me when it comes to Brother Haji. So this is a continuation of our topic of wilayah. So Brother Haji had a video, a narration, where he talked about a watermelon rejecting the wilayah of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wassalam. And basically, he mocked that to say that, this is a melon that refuted it, and it that didn't affirm belief in wilayah, and as a result, his taste changed. And he mocked, and he laughed, and had a good laugh, as did his cameraman, who's always there. The interesting thing is that these are the same individuals, right? But when they are happily, they'll produce miracles, such as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's name appearing on a watermelon or any type of fruit. They'll place it on the social media, and people go there, and they'll become a place of almost pilgrimage, where individuals would attend and praise, subhanallah, look what's happened, a miracle. So for them, they're quite, that's fine. Producing miracles like that, having Allah's name on a melon is absolutely fine. And it's not an issue of mockery, it's something to be proud of, and it affirms your belief. But they'll present it in their houses, or you'll have articles appearing in newspapers. You'll have it presented in mosques. So these were people that the same sect that Haji ascribes to. This is what they'll do. But then when we have this narration, it becomes a source of entertainment and comedy for Brother Haji. Let's play the clip.
So this is page 249. Okay. Now it's quite lengthy. Let me show you. Here it is. It's quite lengthy. So I'm going to basically summarize it because I've got 2 more books to quote. Okay. So let's get into it. So basically, there's a narration here that a man entered upon Ali radiyallahu anhu, and Ali radiyallahu anhu ordered him to buy some watermelons. So he said, فَوَجَأْتُ بِدِرْهَمْ, and he found some dirhams. So he went and bought so he bought 3 watermelons. Okay, so he bought 3 watermelons. So he goes, I caught one, فَإِذَا هُوَ مُرٌّ, and it was bitter. So فَقَالَ أَمِيرُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ إِرْمِي بِهِ مِنَ النَّارِ وَإِلَى النَّارِ, throw it to the fire. So the watermelon was bitter, and Ali radiyallahu anhu said throw it in the fire. So it goes, irmi bihi min al-nar wa ila al-nar. So throw it to the fire. A watermelon is bitter, and your narration says, Ali radhiyallahu anhu says, throw it to the fire. Strange. So then he said, وَقَطَعْتُ ثَانِي, and he cut a second watermelon, فَإِذَا هُوَ حَامِضٌ, and it was sour. So he responded by saying to Ali radhiyallahu anhu, حَامِضٌ يَا أَمِيرُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ, it's sour. So Amir al-Mu'minin said the same thing, throw it to the fire. And then he said, I cut a third slice, فَقَطَعْتُ ثَالِث, he cut the third slice, and then he goes, it was venomous and infested. So Amir al-Mu'minin said the same thing, throw it to the fire. ثُمَّ وَجَعْتُ بِدِرْهَمْ آخر. He found a few more dirhams in his pocket, and he bought 3 more watermelons. So these watermelons were not a good batch. So he bought another 3. And what happened was, I'm getting to the end now. So these watermelons were hulu, they were good. What happened? The main part, let me brace myself now. So basically, Amir al-Mu'minin said, he turned to 𝗙𝗙𝗕𝗦𝗙, and he said to him, 𝗙𝗙𝗕𝗦𝗙, إِنَّ اللَّهَ تَبَارَكَ وَتَعَالَى أَرْضَ وَلَايَتَنَا عَلَى أَهْلِ السَّمَوَاتِ وَأَهْلِ الْأَرْضِ. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala presented our wilayah to the people of the heavens and the people of the earth. And who else? مِنَ الْجِنِّ, and the jinn, from the jinn, وَالْإِنسِ, and the humankind, وَالْثَمَرِ, and the fruits as well. So the wilayah, or the wilayah, was presented to the heavens and the earth, no problem. Jinns and mankind, no problem. وَالْثَمَرِ, and the fruits. وَغَيْرِ and other than them. So the wilayah was presented to everything. Well, let's carry on. Now listen to this, brothers. He goes, فَمَا قَبِلَ مِنْهُ وَلَايَتَنَا, whoever accepted our wilayah from the heavens, people of the heavens, people of the earth, the jinn and the mankind and the fruits. Whoever accepted it, whoever accepted our wilayah, it is sweet, tahur, and water. وَمَنْ لَمْ يَقْبَلْ مِنْهُ, whoever from the fruits etc. did not accept it, خَبُثَ, it is filthy and rotten. So the fruits etc. who did not accept it was rotten, filthy. Okay? So watermelons have a big problem because they did not accept the wilayah. Watermelons did not accept the wilayah. And this is an 𝗙𝗢𝗧. Let's get to another narration. Let's join the evidences together. So this is page 363. Listen to this narration. Oh my God. This is going to absolutely crack you up. The watermelons are a big problem. Honestly, watermelons are a big problem. He said that Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam أخذ بطيخة ليأكلها. So then Ali radhiyallahu anhu took a watermelon to eat from it. فوجدها مرة فرمى بها. He found it bitter and he threw it. Okay, no problem. فقال, and then Ali radhiyallahu anhu said, بعدا وسحقا, be far and be destroyed to the watermelon. Okay, you can't. Just wait, be patient. فقيل له, so the people around him said, يا أمير المؤمنين وما هذه البطيخة, what is this بطيخة, what is this watermelon? فقال, now Ali radhiyallahu anhu is saying, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. So he's narrating a hadith. Okay, he said صلى الله عليه وسلم, إن الله تبارك وتعالى أخذ أقدم مودتنا على كل حيوان ونبت. That indeed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took an agreement of our love upon every animal and every plant. Okay, listen to this. So whoever accepted it from the watermelon was, water, good pure water. And listen to this. وَمَا لَمْ يَقْبَلْ الْمِيثَاقَ كَانَ مِلْحًا زُعَاقًا. And whoever did not accept the wilayah or the covenant would have been salty. So now, this narration here is in 𝗙𝗢𝗪𝗓 للصدوق. Now, to back it up even further, is another book. Okay, so we've got 3 books so far. This is وسائل الشيعة للحر العاملي. Okay, and basically in this particular page 178 is exactly the same narration as in 𝗙𝗢𝗪𝗓. And guess what? This is under the chapter of what is disliked in eating a bitter watermelon. And you have the exact same narration. So now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put this to the test now. Now, let me just present the books first. I've got a surprise for you. I know my Shia friends are watching. I know you are. You got your eyes up. Let's present the books. Okay? The watermelon fiasco. اختصاص of Mufid. علل الشرائع of Saduq. And وسائل الشيعة of حر العاملي.
So this tradition, this tradition can be found firstly in Al-Iqtisas, page number 242, from Qambar, that the servant of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. So Qambar was the servant of Imam Ali alayhi salam, who said, a man came to him and said, O Amir al-Mu'mineen, O Commander of the Faithful, I would like to eat a watermelon. Imam Ali alayhi salam ordered me to buy a watermelon. I went with the dirham and I came back with 3 watermelons. I cut one of them and it was sour. It said, it is sour, O Commander of the Faithful. Imam Ali alayhi salam said, throw it from the fire into the fire. I cut the second watermelon and it was sour. I said, meaning Qambar said, it is sour, O Commander of the Faithful. Imam Ali alayhi salam said, throw it from the fire into the fire. Then I took another dirham and got another 3 watermelons. Then I stood up and said, please do not make me cut watermelon, Amir al-Mu'mineen. Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salam then said, sit down, O Qambar, as it is ordered. Then I sat and I cut 1 watermelon and it was sweet. He said, it is a sweet, O Amir al-Mu'mineen. He said, then eat it. I ate it, he ate it, and the companions ate it too. Then Imam Ali alayhi salam looked at me and said, O Qambar, indeed Allah took a covenant of our wilayah from the people of the heavens and the earth, including the humans, the jinns, the plants, and other things. Whatever accepted the covenant is pure, pleasant and sweet, and whatever rejected the covenant is filthy, unpleasant and impure. Now obviously, if you look at the tradition at face value, to be honest with you, I don't see what the issue is here, especially if one believes in the covenant and everything gave a covenant, then what's the issue here? If we go in terms of the authenticity of this report, we find the biography of Umran ibn Yasir, and it's been mentioned by Sheikh 𝗦𝗨𝗣𝗣𝗢𝗦𝗍, I believe. Umran ibn Yasir is unknown and not mentioned by the scholars of Hadith. This is in the book Mustadrak al-Rijal al-Hadith, volume 6, page 131, person number 11206. So that's the first narrator who'd been highlighted in red, and he is an unknown individual. Now we'll come to the second narrator. The second narrator is called Sharif ibn Rabi'a, I believe, and he also has been mentioned in the book Al-Mustadrak al-Rijal al-Hadith, volume 4, page 208, person 6847. And Sharif is somebody who's unknown, and he's not mentioned by the scholars of Hadith. So that very first tradition which Haji presented from the book Al-Iqtisas by Sheikh Mufid, there are 2 unknown narrators in this. In fact, the chain itself is it's quite problematic. I mean, I've only highlighted 2 because we didn't want to spend too much time on that particular tradition, but it's extremely weak. The second tradition which Muhammad Safdar mentioned, is from Sheikh Saduq in his book Al-Sharia, page number 454, hadith number 10. As you can see, 2 individuals that have been highlighted in red, which we will discuss shortly. And as you can see, this tradition has been narrated from Imam Raza alayhi salam, who said, I was informed by my father, from his grandfather, that Amir al-Mu'mineen, may peace and blessings be upon all of them, took a watermelon to eat. He found it sour, so he threw it. He said, stay away far. It was said to him, O Commander of the Faithful, what is this watermelon? He said, the Messenger of Allah said, indeed Allah took a covenant of our mawaddah, of our love, from every animal and plant. And whatever accepted the covenant is pleasant and sweet, and whatever rejected the covenant is unpleasant and salty. Now those 2 narrators who have been highlighted in red, which again is this appear in the 3rd tradition which Haji presented, and that was from the book Sunni and Shia. So again, it's the same tradition that's mentioned in Sheikh Saduq's book. It's also repeated by Sheikh 𝗡𝗢𝗧𝗏𝗧, and it's exactly the same chain. I'm not going to read the whole tradition, but this is exactly the same narration repeat. So in theory, Haji presented 3 narrations, and from those 3 narrations, 2 are repeated. And from those 2 which are repeated, there's two individuals which have been highlighted in red. They are as follows. Hamza al-Alawi and Sheikh Mufid said regarding him, Hamza al-Alawi is termed majhul, unknown. That's in Al-Mufid min Mujam Rajal Hadith, page number 199. So that is the first narrator who's highlighted red. And the second narrator who's highlighted red was Minthar ibn Muhammad, I believe. And again, Sheikh Mufid said he is somebody who's majhul, he's unknown. This is from Al-Mufid min Mujam Rajal Hadith, page number 620. So those are the three traditions that Muhammad Safdar presented. As you can see, the first one by Sheikh Mufid, his book 𝗙𝗢𝗧𝗜𝗢𝗎, it has two unknown individuals in the chain. And as for the other two reports, they were the same tradition repeated in two different books. Again, two unknown narrators in the chain. Sayyid Hassan Bahari, I just want to pass it back to you, so inshallah you can just give the viewers a quick.
Thank you very much, Sayyid Ali. So basically, Muhammad Safdar Sahab is continuing, at least he's consistent. His very first show dealt with a weak tradition, quoting with one, and he's continuing on. That's just his methodology. So we'll give him that one. For consistency, he gets a plus point. Over to you, Brother Abu Hassan.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers. Inshallah, everyone is doing in the best of health and iman. Here today we have a narration talking about watermelon rejecting wilayah. Hajji, 𝗦𝗨𝗣𝗣𝗢𝗕𝗦𝗖𝗥𝗡𝗦 didn't consider this to be mockery as you did. In fact, he mentioned it in his 𝗦𝗨𝗣𝗣𝗢𝗥𝗧 العشرة for Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam when he comes to talk about this narration. Let's read the Sunni version of this narration. And from Anas saying, Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam gave Bilal 1 dirham to go buy a watermelon. He said, so I bought a watermelon. So he cut it and he found it to be bitter. So he alayhi salam said, take this back to its owner and return the dirham, because the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told me, verily Allah took an oath of your love from the mankind, the trees, the fruits and seeds. So whatever embraced your love became good and wholesome, and whatever did not embrace it became filthy and bitter. And I think this watermelon was of those which did not embrace it. And this is volume 3, page 191, Riyadh al-Nudra fi Manaqib al-Ashara. And as we can see here, 𝗦𝗨𝗣𝗣𝗢𝗡𝗦 didn't take it as a mockery. In fact, he saw this as a manqaba that Allah presented the wilayah on the plants, the animals, and everything. Inshallah, soon we'll come to realize how there are Sunni versions of many, not the same narration, but similar narrations of inanimate objects having some type of consciousness, such as Uhud. And when Ibn Uthaymin was asked about how to love Uhud and Uhud loves us, he said, this is something you do not think about.
Thank you, Brother Abu Hassan. As you mentioned, there's many things which are inanimate objects. The sun, the moon, the stars, the trees, the animals, the plants. They all ultimately submit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even though they might not do it intentionally. I mean, this can even be the case for somebody who's not even a Muslim, because even a non-Muslim, without them even realizing it, every atom of them, it submits to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Every hair, even everything within inside them, submits to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This can even be the case for an animal. But the bottom line is, look, our understanding and perception are very limited, and we don't understand the nature of it. We're unaware of its nature. And this can be the case of even this tradition about the watermelon. We can sit there and laugh at it, but the reality is this very tradition is not just found in our books, but even Sunni scholars, they narrated this tradition, and they narrate this tradition amongst the virtues of Imam Ali alayhi salam. There are certain inanimate objects that have a state of consciousness. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to present you some of these very traditions so it gives the viewers something to reflect on. This hadith is from Sahih Bukhari, volume 5, page number 249, hadith number 4083. Also repeated in Sahih Muslim, volume 3, page 536, hadith number 3371. And this is the chapter. The chapter heading is called Uhud is a mountain that loves us and is loved by us. Narrated Anas, the Prophet, may peace and blessings be upon him and his family, said, this is a mountain that loves us and is loved by us. Now, the question is, this is an inanimate object. So how does a mountain have this emotion to love? Something to think about. So the next tradition is from amongst the signs of end of times. And it's recorded in Bukhari, volume 4, page 479, hadith 3593. Sahih Muslim, volume 7, page 315, 312, page 316, hadith 7335 to 7339. So you can see it's a repeated tradition. Abu Hurairah reported that the Messenger of Allah, may peace and blessings be upon him, said that the last hour would not come unless the Muslims will fight against the Jews and the Muslims would kill them until the Jews would hide themselves behind a stone or a tree. And a stone or a tree would say, Muslim, or the servant of Allah, there's a Jew behind me, come and kill him. But this tree, Ghargad, would not say, for it is the tree of the Jews. According to this tradition, amongst the signs of end of times is that an inanimate object, a stone or a tree, would actually have the ability to speak. And it will tell the people that there's a Jew hiding behind them. So the question is, how can an inanimate object like a stone or tree have this ability or the state of consciousness to, inform a Muslim person of such things? Now, of course, we can say these are from amongst the signs of end of times, but we can also likewise argue that when a covenant was made, this was before the beginning of time. Now, some people may argue and they say, oh, well, we don't take this metaphorically. Let's have a look at what Ibn Hajar Asqalani says. He says, in this hadith, the signs of the hour appear, including the talking of trees. This apparently appears from the hadith that this will happen. However, it could be metaphorical to mean that the hiding will not benefit them. Though the first opinion is stronger, i.e. that it's not metaphorical. As you can see, these traditions they're taken quite literally. That, the stones and the trees will have this state of consciousness where they'll be able to speak. Again, let's have a look at another tradition. Ibn Abbas narrated that the Messenger of Allah, may peace and blessings be upon him, said about the black stone, by Allah, Allah will raise it on the day of resurrection with 2 eyes by which it sees and a tongue that it speaks with, testifying to whoever touched it in truth. This hadith is Hasan, reliable. This is from Sunan Tirmidhi, volume 2, page 358, hadith number 961. So as you can see, Hajar al-Aswad, the black stone at the Kaaba, which every pilgrim, when they go for pilgrimage, they touch this stone, this will have 2 eyes and it will have a tongue. So how is it going to have 2 eyes and a tongue that has the ability, or at least consciousness, to know about all the people who've touched it? Okay, this is another tradition. Now, though this tradition, I'm going to say it right now before in advance to save Muhammad Safdar time. This tradition actually appears also in Shia hadith literature. And for us, we outright object to this tradition in the sense that, this is clear 𝗧𝗪𝗪, and it's actually mentioned, I believe, in Tafsir al-Qummi, but we can discuss that at a later time anyway, not in this particular episode. But the point is, it's about stressing about inanimate objects and how they have the ability or consciousness. So this tradition, the Prophet says, the Bani Israel used to take a bath naked, all together looking at each other. The Prophet Musa alayhi salam used to take a bath alone. They said, by Allah, nothing prevents Moses from taking a bath with us except that he has a scrotal hernia. So once Musa went to take a bath and put his clothes over a stone, and then that stone ran away with his clothes. Moses followed that stone, saying, my clothes, my stone, my clothes, O stone, till the people of Bani Israel saw him and said, by Allah, Moses has got no defect in his body. Moses took his clothes and began to beat the stone. Abu Hurairah added, by Allah, there are still 6 or 7 marks present on the stone from that excessive beating. So as you can see, again, you have an inanimate object, a stone, which runs off with the clothes of Hazrat Musa alayhi salam. And if it's something that we should mock, then definitely this is one tradition which Sahih according to Bukhari standard. I can hear one of the brothers want to say something very eager, so I'm going to pass it on.
So I want to see bro Hajji now very consistent in mocking this hadith as well. He has to be consistent in his methodology. That's firstly. And the second point I wanted to say, they accept weak hadith in manaqib. So why does he always just seem to have an issue about the manaqib of Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam? But as I said before, it's something in his heart, and he has to review the way he talks about Ahlul Bayt and the way he talks about Ali ibn Abi Talib, because the way he's talking about them is very nasib, and it's absolutely disgraceful. He should not be talking like that.
Thank you, brother. Important words as always. Brother Haji, as you know, we always reciprocate your kindness. So on this occasion, since the theme was one of watermelons, we'll give you a watermelon present from your books. This is from Ibn Qayyim, from his book, 𝗙𝗢𝗧𝗜𝗢𝗡𝗦, Volume 4, page 1472. Since you're fond of using watermelons in your shows, so here we go. Ibn Qayyim said, if a man makes a hole in a watermelon, or a piece of dough, or a leather skin, or a statue, and has sex with it, then this is the same as what I would have said about other types of masturbation, i.e. that it's halal in those circumstances, such given before, such as being on a journey. So something that he said earlier. In fact, it's easier than masturbating with one's hand. So, Brother Haji, since you enjoyed that tradition about the watermelon and it not testifying to the WILAYAH, watermelon has some usage in your sect, doesn't it? You know, it might not testify to the WILAYAH of 𝗦𝗨𝗣𝗣𝗢𝗦𝗖𝗥𝗓. That might be something to mock, but you can utilize a watermelon for sexual satisfaction. So you can effectively have intercourse with that watermelon. So it's a substitute for a hand. So rather than masturbate, you can do that. So is that not funny, Brother Haji? How does your cameraman think about that? Why don't you lead by example, bring a watermelon and do the business for your audience to show how useful that is? Because obviously there are times in society when an individual might be alone, might be desperate, might not be married. And obviously, Brother Haji, people look up to you. They see you as an example in the community. And you're quite proud. You do have narcissistic tendencies. So education is important. Since you enjoy educating and mocking Shias, how about you lead by example on the issue of watermelons? Watermelon is a theme that clearly is close to your heart. So rather than moving it, let's go down from your heart to your waist area. So that's our gift to you. We hope that you enjoyed the show, dear brothers and sisters. Remember us in our du'as as we shall remember you. Salamun alaikum.